I have a question for you today. It's with a little sense of urgency. Here's the word. Here's the question. It is, what are you doing? Serious question that I'm asking right now. What are you doing? What are you doing with your gifts? What are you doing with your talents? What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your resources? With all of the challenges that are happening in us and around us, this is the perfect opportunity for us to create. This is the perfect opportunity for us to partner, collaborate, be in the right environments where solutions are being discussed. There's something that's happening June 6th and 7th that I think will be a perfect opportunity for all of us to come together. And it's our second installment of Infusion. And the focus and the theme is the word innovate. Oh yeah, we're going to be talking solutions. We're going to be talking creating. We're going to be talking renovating. We're going to be talking modernizing. We're going to be talking about progress and moving forward because the solution is within us. So if you feel stuck, you want to be there June 6th and 7th. You feel frustrated, you want to be there June 6th and 7th because there is something you can do about it. I've invited my good brother, Dr. Jermone to join us as we curate this education to give us the tools that we need to be innovative. Sometimes necessity is the fuel for innovation. And I believe now is the time for us to create. See you June 6th and 7th. Family, what up? What up? What up? What up? Do me a favor, y'all, and listen, it's been 5 years since the pandemic. You know the routine.
Right.
Share this live. Man, it's just great to be on tonight. And I got my brother, my partner here with us. And
Yes,
since
sir.
2020, released singles that are doing pretty good and streaming.
Yeah,
Definitely could
yeah,
use some more streaming and downloads, though.
absolutely.
But two great, beautiful songs, well orchestrated, well written, well produced. That will be a blessing to your life. He's on tonight. And, well, we'll share that a little later. I mean,
Yes, yeah,
just some really good things happening, man, and I'm just
absolutely.
glad to be a part of it, connected as my brother. I
Yeah,
get to support, I get to show love,
for sure.
man, and just watch God do some amazing things in your life. Y'all, I got my brother Percy on tonight. Percy, say what's up
Yo,
to everybody.
what's up, everybody? Those that are tuning in, those that might see it later. What's going on, everybody? Good evening. Happy Tuesday. So good to be on with my brother Jay. He has been a driving force
Yeah, it
for me for many years, and I thank God for his life. I thank God for all that he's done for me. So I'm always here to just just partner with him and just kind of like see what's up. I'm so grateful for him in my life, and I'm glad that God has chosen
man,
us for this time.
yes,
For real.
bro. I'm really excited. I'm really excited because this relationship has definitely uh, taken shape and form, man,
Hmm.
as covenant brothers, partners, and it's just been a great opportunity to work with
Absolutely.
another brother who loves God.
Yeah.
And man, we've just been navigating life through transitions, supporting one another,
For
pushing
real.
one another, challenging one another.
100%.
Uh, y'all, Percy not only leads worship, but Percy has a gift. And he often shares it with myself and a group of other brothers.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep it serious tonight, right? 'Cause
Oh
so
man.
when I said he had a gift, y'all, Percy. So we gonna we gonna keep we gotta keep it pretty serious tonight. But y'all, he has another
Hmm.
gift, man. And when I say he encourages us, and the timeliness of his words are always, or I'll say he never misses when God prompts him to
Yeah,
share a word with us. Not just me, but share a word with us.
for sure.
Oh man. Bishop Odom is on tonight. Happy birthday, Bishop O.
Bishop, happy
Bishop
belated birthday.
Bishop O is on. Bishop
Yes,
O
sir.
is giving away 1 to 2 tickets on Morning Manna over the next couple of weeks for Infusion 2025. Tune
Love
in
it.
for contest rules. Okay, so if Bishop Odom is giving away 1 or 2 tickets for the next few weeks, Bishop, you got to tell me how many weeks in there. You got to tell me how many weeks. How many weeks are you doing it? Are you just doing it for the month of May, or are you even doing it the week of infusion? All right. And based on your answer, I'm going to have to match that. You are not going to out sponsor me
Mm,
on this infusion. But it's always great. Bishop O is definitely an encouragement.
yeah,
Go check him out, man. New book. He relaunched his website, so it's some amazing and wonderful things that are happening. So, y'all, I'm gonna say this: whenever it comes in, if you those who are looking at the comments, whatever Bishop Odom does in terms of sponsorship, I will match.
I love
I
it.
will match. So if he's doing 10 over the Jesus, if he's doing 10 over the next 5 weeks, then I'm gonna match him with 10. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. But I just believe in the impact of Infusion Summer 2025 with my brother
Absolutely.
Percy Robinson and Dr. Jermone Glenn. And actually, we got some others that's going to join us that weekend that we'll share more with later on in the month. And I'm excited. So, this is Infusion Talks, Infusion Conversations. And as you know, the conversation is focused on the theme for our next infusion.
Right.
The last infusion was soul care, Dr.
Hmm.
Real quick, what was your experience like that night, man? Because, I mean, these last couple of infusions, even with the one in December,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
that
That
was
was my first one.
joined, and
Hmm.
I feel like it was an exchange.
It
Like,
was,
let's go back to the first one. Let's go back to December 2024.
man,
Yeah, let's start there,
bro.
and then we'll.
That one, honestly speaking, that one really was. I consider that to be like the fire starter because it was just when you expect you don't excuse me when you don't know what to expect,
Yeah,
and then God speaks to us the way He did, and I forgot the pastor's name, and I just it's funny because I just told him that we need
Eric
to connect, but
Etienne.
yes, sir. What an incredible man of God, and he came in like a force. He came in like a wind, and literally the place was. It was like somebody opened a door and a whirlwind came in, bro. That's all I can say. It was like what took place that night was almost like revival, but it
Yeah,
was an ignition and something was ignited that night
yeah, yeah,
for leaders.
yeah.
Uh, and it just really, really it just put people on. It's like people went back on track, like they got realigned
Ooh, that
and
was
then they
good.
went forward. And
That
that's what
was
I got
good.
from that night. It was so purposeful, so God night. It was a God night from
Yeah,
beginning to end. It was just a God night.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's good, bro.
seriously.
That's
Yeah.
That's really good. That's a great way. That's definitely a great way to put it.
Mhm.
And actually, as we were closing out the year, the word for the night was activate.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
man, was
Worry.
something activated, bro. Um,
Whoa.
I mean, it's crazy because we're gonna get into this a little later, and this was not on our agenda to talk about, but
Mhm.
you had received. Let me frame this like this: you had received some
Okay.
disappointing news.
Right.
And that week, maybe a day or two before that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And most people, with that type of news, devastating news,
Yeah.
loss, how were you able to still
Mm.
minister? Like, because most people cancel everything, shut
Right.
down,
Right.
but no one in the building knew the loss that you had just experienced. But you were able to come in, man, and
Yeah.
effectively minister on that night, man. Can you just kind of share a little bit about that, man? Because there's some people right now who are experiencing loss and kind of weighing,
Hmm.
how they should navigate this season or this moment as it
Yeah.
pertains to ministry and business and what their assignment is.
Right. Right. Honestly, because of not just me being asked by you, but because I felt like this was something that was a kingdom assignment for me. I was like, well, I don't want to just call it a quits because of a situation. Not that I didn't respect what took place, but I felt like the Holy Spirit was like, now you need an infusion because
Ooh,
as you give out, I'm going to pour back into you. And I didn't even relinquish the news to you until after it was over because I
you
didn't
did
want
not.
to interfere nor did I want you to, because you're a human too. Your humanity would have said, "Bro, don't do it." And I
Yeah.
didn't even want to cause any kind of, you know, hiccup in the situation, but I felt empowered to do it. I felt like I was needed, and like I said, I didn't know what was going to take place. But when I got there and I began to minister, the Lord literally met us to the point where I was encouraged, I was
Yeah.
strengthened, and it blessed me right at the point of my need. The word says that God He mends broken hearts and He binds up wounds.
Yeah.
He did just that for me that night. But it
Wow.
was as I brought my worship to Him, He
Yeah.
healed me, and
Yeah.
He really took care of that wound to the point where me and you went out to dinner that night, me, you, and your wife, and I was able to tell you then, but I felt okay about telling you then because I
Yeah.
felt like God healed a portion of me that I was able to now relinquish that because no one really knew. No
Yep.
one really knew about that. Yeah, no one knew
Man, that
about
was
that.
amazing. And it was
Yeah,
interesting because definitely no one in the room knew that, like, at
no,
all. Didn't even
yeah,
sense.
no.
Some people get up and you're like, oh, I
They
sent. We
they a
did
little
not
heavy
sense,
tonight.
bruh.
Yeah,
And then you get those who get up and announce it, y'all. I'm a little heavy tonight, so just bear
yeah,
with me. But
yeah,
that night was all about Jesus.
yeah,
It was all about the connection, all about the assignment, man. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I thank you. I honor you
Thank God
for
for it.
your
Thank you.
commitment to the assignment, man. I really
Sure,
thank God for you because it was an exchange.
it was.
Um, Bro, just right there, real quick, just
Hmm.
talk about, because you have those who kind of navigate multiple ministries.
Yeah,
Y'all, we're actually in the conversation, but we'll connect it with innovation in just a second. we're
yeah,
we're actually in the conversation right now, but man, just talk about, encouraging those, like, who work with different ministries, right,
hmm.
and minister a couple of times a week. How important is that exchange?
Honestly speaking, there's nothing that you can do publicly that you don't handle privately. And at the
Mhm.
end of the day, my exchange, or should I say my strength exchange, comes from my private time with Him. I know people are going to say that's so generic, but that's the truth. I could
Absolutely.
never serve with all of the issues that I might have at one time. I could never serve effectively if I didn't have a private relationship with Him. As I serve Him privately, He heals me and He meets me privately so that I'm able to come and do what I need to do. And at the end of the day, I never want people to really see me. By nature, I don't really like attention by nature. And you know that, I'm always like, I'm good. By nature, that's who I am. So for ministry,
Yeah.
I'm definitely not, I don't want it to be about me because then, He didn't say if you be lifted up, He said if I be lifted up. So I have to be careful that I don't put myself on this quote unquote attention stage where I
Yeah.
become the drawer. No, 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 no. He has to be the one, and for those that are
Absolutely.
juggling multiple ministries and everything, my prayer is that you really take the time you need to really sup with Him so that you can be whole enough so that
Mm,
you're ministering from overflow. I tell the worship team all the time, if you're not taking time with the Father to be poured into, how can you pour out? And so many people are pouring from an empty cup. And what they're doing is they're pouring from exhaustion. They're pouring from what I consider to be just, I hate to say this, but residue. And residue sounds like, why are you not praising Him? You don't know what He did for
Residue
you
instead of
instead of
overflow.
overflow.
They're
Yeah,
pouring from residue
yeah,
instead of pouring from, bro. That is
overflow.
that is great. Are
Yeah,
y'all getting this tonight?
yeah.
Do me a favor, tag your worship leaders,
So
tag your
important.
senior pastors, tag your worship teams tonight, tag creatives,
Yeah,
musicians, those who are in any type of position where they make decisions.
yeah.
Because while we're talking about leading worship, that also translate for preachers. That also translate for
Life,
life, right? Like,
life.
what's your life,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
What's your assignments? What's your
yeah,
life,
yeah.
right? And then how much time do you spend
Yeah,
so that you can execute at a high level? How much time do you
correct.
spend with yourself, with
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
cultivating privately
yeah.
so that you can execute in excellence publicly?
Correct.
That's bro. I'm
Correct.
getting it. And
Yeah.
y'all, we talking about innovation, and we're talking about
Yeah.
being in a. We are talk. I promise you,
Yeah.
we're talking about being innovative, bro. So, man, I really appreciate that because I think part of the conversation sometimes to bring validation to ourselves is to
Hmm.
share how much we're doing,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And in that, we really have to ask, how healthy is that? And are you maintaining a schedule outside of what you're doing for you to be healthy to maintain
Yeah.
that, right? Or
Yeah.
ex- even accelerating that,
Yeah.
or excel in that, like
Hmm.
it's all right. If you know that your day starts at 5 a.m., then you can't stay up till 12 and 1 a.m. every night.
Yeah.
You can't binge watch your favorite shows every single day. Like,
Sure.
how
Right.
are you managing, the responsibilities of your assignment?
Right.
Man,
Because
this
it is
is
a responsibility.
absolutely,
It is a
absolutely.
responsibility. And how you handle it off the stage will determine what happens on the stage. And
That's
you might
that's
be rich in one area. You might be an incredible keyboardist, but there's some areas in your life that are poor. And eventually those areas will catch up with you. Pastor Bishop Dale Bronner says to succeed publicly but fail privately is actually still failing. And you can't be innovative for too long if you're not handling the things that are weak in your area so that you can be a better person publicly. But
yeah,
it all starts with how you discipline, how you have balance, what you say no to. That's
yeah,
innovative because that
yeah,
lets you know I can't manage this and be great at this because that's going to take too much of me.
yeah,
I have to make a decision. My decision says, you know what, in order for me to do this well, I need to pull back from this. And
yeah.
so many people we're overcompensating for areas in our lives
Ooh, yes, yes,
that
sir.
we're not healed from.
Yes,
And
sir.
we're also looking for so much applause from people that we overdo it. We overcompensate. And
Yeah,
next, we're burnt out and we're trying to figure out why. Because we
yeah.
weren't graced for everything, nor are we graced for every season. And I don't want to be all, I
We're
hate to
here.
say that we're
We're here.
here,
We're here.
but in everything that we do, we have to learn that everything is not my assignment. Every emergency is not my thing. Your emergency is not my emergency. And I have to take the
Bro.
time to really discern and say, is this for me to pray or is this for me to show up? Well, there's no distance in prayer. So I might not be able to run across town to meet the need of someone, but I can pray and say, Lord, meet them right where they are. You're Jireh, not me.
Yeah,
And when we take that complex off of us, because we always have to show up and be there, we will find healing and freedom because of us saying, that's not for me. And I had to learn
yeah,
that. I'm innovative now because I learned how to say no.
yeah. Oh my God. No protects your innovation.
Yes,
No
sir.
protection. So, y'all, when we talk about innovative, we're talking about creativity. We're talking
Yeah.
about new ideas. We're talking
Yeah.
about modernizing. We're talking about renovating. We're
Hmm.
talking about solutions. We're talking about resolve. We're talking
Yeah.
about answers, right? So, when we speak of innovation, that's what, you know, we mean, right?
Hmm.
Regardless of the industry or topic, right, that we're discussing, most of the examples that we can give when it comes to innovation, you'll be able to apply to another area in
Sure.
your life,
In your
right?
life.
And
Yeah.
so, man, this is great, man. Shout out to my sis Stacy who's on. Stacy
Stacy.
Steyer's on tonight.
I love Stacy. I
Um,
miss you, Stace.
JD is on from Ohio.
My brother JD, the
We miss
greatest.
you,
Y'all hear me?
man.
The greatest. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. The greatest.
Bishop Odom said, "Preach, Percy." He said,
Oh
"Preach,
man. Yes,
preach."
sir.
Raheem, what's up, bro? He said, "No is not a dirty word." This is good.
Listen, bro,
This
Raheem,
is
I'm telling you, no will free you.
will free you, y'all. So, man, that is, man. I'm glad you are, sharing this tonight, Percy,
Yeah.
because some who are at the brink of burnout, they have a misconception of what they need to be doing,
Mhm.
and they're thinking the more they do, that it's going to get them where they're going. And it's like
Correct.
sometimes that no will help you to get the rest you need. That no will help you have the energy you need
Yeah.
Because if you're
Yeah.
always saying yes, when will you have the energy,
Hmm.
watch this, to create?
Yeah.
Because you need time to create before, instead of out here just doing. If you're
Yeah.
always doing, when do you have time to
Absolutely.
create it?
To create. Yeah.
Um, and that's something that we need to assess when it comes to our life, because this notion of I'll rest when I die.
Yeah.
I'm good, bro. I don't need to embrace that. I'm
Listen,
okay
if
to rest now.
Jesus had to steal away the rest, I'm resting with Jesus. And I ain't talking about
100.
in heaven.
100.
Jesus went to sleep in a boat with a storm. So,
Listen.
you know what I'm trying to say? So I'm not gonna be too yeah, I'll rest. No, no, no. And honestly speaking, going back to that, no, I mean Jesus had to say no to himself. He actually went to
Yeah.
his father saying, is there any way possible that he can go another way? And the Lord, he said, you
Yeah.
know what, nevertheless, not my will. His no caused him to die, but it also caused us to have life. So sometimes
Yeah.
no will cause you to have pain at first, but it brings life as well. And it's like that no will free many people because you now put yourself in, he walked in purpose.
Yeah.
That no put him in his purpose.
Yeah.
That no will put you in your purpose at times.
Yeah.
And I'm a
So,
witness of that. I've been for many years, I thought that I always had to do what people wanted me to do. But now I said, Lord, what do you want me to do?
yeah.
How do you want me to, I don't want to be burnt out. I don't want to be no good. What is it? Heavily, what is
You're
it?
so heavenly bound, you're no earthly good.
No earthly good. Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. I don't want to be wiped out. I want to enjoy life. I
Yeah.
want to I want to live life like my pastor said. I want to live at the kingdom way. I want to be able to thrive in everything I do, not just on the
That's good.
stage.
Yeah.
My life is not just about a stage. My life is stages.
Woo!
I want to thrive on
Bars.
every stage.
Bars. Oh man. You got bars tonight, y'all.
Yeah, bro.
This is good. My life is
Yeah.
stages. I'm not performing
Stages.
just for the
Yeah.
stage. My life is stages.
Stages. Yeah.
Trying to
Yeah.
trying to thrive in every
Yes.
stage, and that's
Yeah.
what it is, man. They, maximizing at each place or interval that God has,
Sure. Sure.
cultivating gifts and skills,
Sure.
for that greater,
Yeah.
or that place
What a
ultimately that He
place.
has, for each and every one of us. We say things like, there's no experience wasted.
Um,
Man, so innovation is often bred by necessity, um, you know, where there's a need, and sometimes we have to create based off of need. Um, man, what or how do you manage creativity, or what, like, do you have something that you do, go to a place, you have a set of friends
mhm.
that you pitch topics to, thoughts to,
Right.
songs to,
Right.
and because our audience is pretty broad tonight, you can use any example, whether it's
Yeah.
your friends that where
Whatever.
you create music, or
Yeah. Yeah.
friends that you talk life with.
Mhm.
Um, what's your source of creation, man?
Honestly, it starts with, and this, it starts with me managing my time. I want to give you the foundation of it
Yep.
because there's times when I have to literally put creating in the schedule because
Mm,
there's times when I have to make sure, because as a creative, you're always going, but you can't always create because, well, for one, I'm not a 24-hour creator. I have other things that I need to do. So I schedule a time for that because I realized that it works better for me that way.
yeah.
That I say that on these days and these times, I'm going to create. And a lot of people talk about
Good.
how uh, content creators talk about how they have to literally build a schedule
This
for
is
that.
good. This is good.
Um, my pastor said that there are some times that there won't be an outpour of a blessing because we're not ready for that to happen because we're not in the right position to receive that, right?
Holy
And I didn't
Ghost.
understand that, but I understood that if God is a God of time and if
Yeah.
God created the heavens and the earth
Yeah.
in stages,
Yeah.
and he's the greatest creator,
Yeah.
then let me see how God did it. God did it in time. So let
Jesus.
me build in time. Let me take some time and say, Tuesday from 6 to 8 is my time to really hone in, write the vision, make it plain, and then I'll build from that. Uh, he taught, well, I love my pastor, but he taught me how to be, build, and bless. There's three
Yeah.
stages of it. Become
Yeah.
who I am, become who I need to be, build what I need to build, and then bless what I need to bless who I need
Yeah.
to bless. There's
Yeah.
stages of it. I'm saying this for a reason, because time management is major. A lot of creators will say, I just sit around and wait for something to happen, but there's so much time going by.
Yeah.
Discipline will say, how about you put it in this kind of framework so that you can do things in time? That is one of the biggest things in my life. Time management is huge for me. Time is currency.
Bro, I was about to ask a question. You just hit me with time is currency.
Sorry.
Jeez. You're saying a lot tonight, man, and I'm catching it. Um, you talked about blocking out time for, creativity, because if you just sit around and wait for something to happen, it's a lot of
Yeah.
time that
Yeah.
passes by. And man, talk about the importance of action,
Mm.
that follow through of, once you create. You mentioned, becoming and building, right? Building
Mhm.
is action.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
the next stage, blessing, is action.
Yeah.
Talk about that piece of action, like just how, that space and that time uh, has to be, resourceful, or
Yeah.
has to be useful for the
Yeah.
ultimate purpose of,
Purpose.
living out,
Yeah.
that assignment, right? So
Hmm.
talk about that piece, man, that action part. Now you're putting things into action.
Yeah. Well, it starts with the framework. So, like anything has a blueprint, you plan it, then you start putting action to it, which means, what do I need to do to bring what's on paper to pass? What do I need to do to bring what I'm building to fruition? And when you put action, you can't go backwards. You can't, like I said, be, build, bless. You can't go backwards. You can't build and then become who you are. No, 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 no. You have to
Mhm.
become, which means plan, prepare,
Yeah.
then you build,
Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
And now you say, as I'm building, Lord, what is my purpose for this? What's going to happen when I build? What am I? Well, then you then bless people. It becomes a blessing. Because
Yeah.
purpose, another definition for purpose is becoming an answer for a problem, right?
Absolutely.
So
Innovation.
I have to be innovative to build so that I can become the answer, because nothing is ever for you. I mean, you will
Ooh.
reap some of the benefits, but when you look
Yeah.
at it from a kingdom perspective, it's all for the glory and the edification of God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm putting into action what I've been building and becoming so that
Yeah.
it can bless and now do what it was sent to do. Because
Yeah.
even before the very time, my purpose was always, the enemy he doesn't even care about the gift part. He cares about the purpose of it.
Yeah.
He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He
Yep.
steals your strength, your joy. He destroys your purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he kills everything that you have so that you don't become what God has called you to become.
Let's stay there, bro. Let's park right there and talk about how important it is to become what God has designed, right? Because one of the things that we don't consider all the time is that in the hustle or in the grind, who we're becoming in that,
Yeah.
right?
In
Like,
that.
it's
Yeah.
the journey to the goal
Mhm.
is probably more vital than the actual goal. Like, who you
Absolutely.
become in that process, right? Because you don't want to reach the goal and you did not stop to assess what you were becoming, or how you were being formed and shaped in the
Yeah.
process of getting the goal. That you get to the goal and then, like, you're by yourself, or you get to the goal and it's like you've developed
Yeah.
this anal personality, or this personality that rejects love,
Hmm.
social skills. You know what I mean? Like, it just,
Rejects criticism,
oh my gosh.
rejects advice, rejects
Yes.
wisdom,
Yeah.
because you weren't shaped. That shaping, that That process is what gives you that on the potter's wheel where he's shaping you so that you
Yeah.
can be ready for what he has for you to do.
Yeah.
And so many people are striving for, they say, shoot for the stars, shoot. Yeah, I get what you're trying to say, but you have to make sure that you don't want to become this great person without becoming whole. Like why did we miss that part? How are we leading people in worship when we don't have a life of worship? How are we doing things when we don't even have the life? And I'm not talking about perfection. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm
Mm-mm.
talking about a surrendered life
Yeah.
so that you can yield yourself and now you can be a gift and a vessel that no one has to question because they see the fruit. See,
Man. Ooh.
it's when John the Baptist was baptizing Jesus, the Lord said, God said, "This is my son." We need endorsement from the Father, not from man, and we look for it from man. But when it comes from the Father, His presence says, "I'm with him." That's the
Man,
kind of
this is great.
that's the kind of endorsement that I want.
This is great because
That's what I want.
man, shout out to Bishop Guy Robinson, man. He blessed us so much in March, man,
He
and
did.
he dealt with the whole becoming.
Yeah,
We're constantly becoming,
constantly
right?
becoming.
We are continuously becoming.
Absolutely.
It doth not yet appear what we shall be, but
What we
we
shall
shall
be.
be like you know what I'm like. We're constantly evolving, constantly becoming,
Yeah,
being shaped and being formed, and
yeah,
it
yeah.
should be in the image and the likeness of Christ.
Hmm.
And so I had to pause here, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are listening, because again, we're living in an era where people are endorsing gifts and talents more than they are endorsing character and integrity. Right? Gifts and talents more than they're endorsing character and integrity. And man cannot live by gift and talent alone.
Right, right, right.
Because no one wants to be the most talented, but yet no one can deal with you.
Yeah,
The most gifted, and no one can deal with you.
yeah.
No one wants to be around you.
Hmm.
And so that becoming piece is, really critical, even in, the innovation aspect or innovating and creating. You want to make sure that you are creating a whole person in the
Yeah,
process of creating, or being that solution
yeah.
to the problem, answer to the question,
Sure.
and then not allowing yourself to only be identified by what you do, because when you have those gaps, and becoming, and then you being the solution and you being the answer,
Yeah,
it can really go to your head and create this ego
yeah,
again, that you feel like it's validating who you are, and you just don't want that.
yeah,
You just don't want that, man. So like this infusion piece, I'm really excited, man, because I believe you mentioned revival earlier. Traditionally, revivals are
yeah.
to revive, restore,
Hmm.
make alive, you
Yep.
know, return to its original passion and fire when it comes to our relationship with God. This is a fusion of revival, conference, like all in one. Like we're
Yeah,
we're we're meshing revival with infusion. We're meshing revival, conference, all in one with our delivery and our package, because um, I think once we have that worship and we've encountered God, then we need that instruction and that those tools, that education, the next steps, right? Because it's nothing like being floored,
correct.
laid out in the presence of God. But then when I get up,
Yeah.
how should I live?
How should I live? Yeah.
How should I live? And that's that's one of the reasons why we have both. That's one of the reasons why we have 2 days, because we know
Hmm.
Friday. If
Hmm.
you've been to infusion Friday nights are just
Yeah, it's
Fridays are
insane.
Fridays are mind blowing. I mean, it
Yeah.
really, really is. No hype. And Saturday we get to talk. We get to really break down theories, break down strategies, assess, right?
Mm.
Look at the application aspect of what it is that we're learning, and God has favored us. God has favored us. Man, shout out to Alex and Haas. Shout out to Alex and Haas.
Pastor.
Uh,
I see nobody cares about what. Thank you, brother Haas. I can always count on you.
Listen, Alex,
I
you
love you,
already
brother.
know, man.
I love my
Alex, you
brother,
already
Pastor
know.
Alex.
I listen. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited
Yeah,
about Infusion Summer 2025. We're talking innovation. We're talking creativity tonight with my brother Percy, who
yeah.
is our resident. We call him the resident worship leader for infusions. He's been with us for two of them already. We've only
Yeah.
had three. He's been with us with two of them. He's coming to do another one this summer, 2025, June 6th and 7th, and we're excited to have him partner with us. Man, let's talk about innovation and partnership and
Mhm.
collaboration, bro. Like because um, you recently as we stated, Percy has two singles that are on majority of the streaming platforms: Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, and other digital outlets. You can stream. All glory goes to you,
You. Yes, sir.
and then we
Glory.
need your glory.
Yeah.
So he's all in the glory, and both songs are streaming,
Yeah.
and we want you to listen, add them to your playlist, share them with family and friends, download them if you haven't downloaded them,
Mhm.
and we greatly appreciate that. But the collaboration and influence piece, man. So you recently collaborated with another artist, and
Yes.
was featured.
Yes.
Man,
Was
let's
featured.
talk
Hmm.
about that process. Let's talk about, the creative juices, man, that
Yeah.
connection, because we also found out some other news, but it's not for me to share.
Right. Right.
Um, but yeah, man, tell us about that, man. Like, how
You
was it
know,
going from
some people would say that why would you want to collab with someone if you're your own person? But there's power in partnership. And what I will say is that my brother Lamont, I've known him since 2008. And we served together. I was his worship leader and choir director at my former church.
mm,
And I served and we became friends back then. But the thing about it is that I was never that guy where I felt like even because I was your leader that I couldn't be reachable, touchable, whatever the case is. Make a long story short, years later, he shows up at the church where I'm at now, which is Change Church. Shout out to Change Church and my pastor, Dr. Darius Daniels. And he was like, "This is where you've been hiding?" I said, "Yeah, I've been here for years." And he said, "But what have you been doing?" I said, "I've been sitting and growing and healing. I
yeah,
came here and I didn't go right to a stage. I sat for 4.5 years because I knew that I needed to wait until it was time for me to do something." With that being said, about a year and a half ago, he did a recording at the church and he called me up to sing a piece of the song. I was going to just support him. Yep. I went to support. I was sitting in the back, relaxing and supporting. He called me up and I did a little bit of singing on the song. And he tells me months later, "You're going to be on a single. You're going to be on this record." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Yeah, I want you to be a part." And I said, I'm honored." He's like, "Wow, bro, I really appreciate it." I said, "No, this is what we do." There
yeah,
was no, there was no, how much you need right now. It wasn't none of that because I understood that sometimes there's seasons where you sow and there's seasons where you reap.
thank you,
And that was
Jesus.
my sowing season. And I can't really say much yet, but
Yep,
something has transpired that we're believing God for a major open door for his song. I'll leave it
yeah,
at that.
yeah,
And I'm really proud of Lamont because he has been one of the hardest working people I've ever seen who believed in something and ran after it. And I'm just honored to be a part of that. And then going back to what Jay said, partnering doesn't mean dumbing down. Partnering
Ooh,
actually means you're bigger. when two
Yeah.
companies collide, they grow. They grow
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm from what I'm believing God for him, it will establish me in a better way. So me
Yeah.
partnering with him allowed me to be even more established.
Man, that's great, man, because
Yeah,
some feel like, oh, I'm called to the nations,
yeah,
right? And they want to do it as a soloist.
yeah,
They want to do it as a
right,
solo artist, right? Or a solo worship leader.
yeah,
Not realizing, something can happen through helping someone out and you're doing
absolutely.
BGVs or you're just going to support someone
Yeah,
and you get up, they throw you the mic, you do what you do,
hmm,
not realizing somebody sitting in the audience that was not just enamored but was blessed
sure.
by what you did, that they're now calling on you,
Sure.
just from the collaboration.
Yeah,
And the reality is there are doors of opportunities that partners can open for one another, because usually, I mean, definitely the fit of, hey, you're strong in this area, I'm strong in this area,
yes,
let's
yeah,
bring those things
we're
together and
together.
let's
Yeah,
create something bigger.
hmm,
And I think in our culture, man, we have too much jealousy and envy. As someone posted, we're criticizing people that we should be partnering with,
yeah,
and we're letting others put things into our thought life and our spirit about others that we could actually benefit from. And I'm not talking about using people. I'm talking about mutual beneficial relationships.
yeah, yeah,
The relationships are mutually beneficial for both parties,
yeah,
whether you're married, whether it's a business relationship, or whether it's a brother or sisterhood. It's mutually beneficial. That's where we have to get to, for this to be healthy, for it to work. We have to really partner and have mutually beneficial relationships, especially for some of the things that God has called us to do, because part of
yeah,
your procrastination and your
mm,
paralysis is because it's too big. And then you stunt your own self because you want to do it by yourself, not
yeah.
realizing it's so big that you need partners to
I
do
need
it.
partners. Yeah,
Infusion can't be infusion without the partnership of Purcy. Infusion
mm,
can't be infusion without the partnership of Bishop Odom, my
yeah,
brother Derek Etienne, my nephew Nick. Right, the partnerships that we
sure,
create through this. My
sure.
partner Donovan. Right, my
Yeah,
partner Sam Roberts. Right, these are partners with J Moody Enterprise,
yeah,
CCC. These are partners that we connect with, and we build and we create, we innovate to
hmm,
help encourage the body of Christ, man. So I've man, it's just a great testimony to have, man. And talk about just how in this season, man, like how are you leveraging your partnerships?
Truth of the matter is that I'm where I am because I've learned years ago that partnering was a good thing. Um,
Mm,
you know, uh, in this season, I'm learning to just really, really be okay with partnering with people. And listen, it's not even for my gain, but it's to help them get further. But guess what happens when I push them further? I go further faster
this
because
is
I'm helping them. I'm putting speed behind them and I'm sewing into where they're going.
this is
That's like
good.
someone, that's like you riding a bike down the road and someone honks their horn and says, "Where you going?" And you say, "I'm going to Linden, New Jersey." And they say, "Well, won't you put your bike on top of the car and I'll get you in my car?" You've just partnered with someone that has a vehicle that can take you further faster. But if you were to say, "No, I don't need a ride, I'll get there on my own," you've missed the opportunity to get there faster because you
Yeah,
decide to do it on your own. I've never want to be that. I don't ever want to be that self-centered where I can't ask someone help,
yeah,
help,
that's so good.
you know. And
That's
uh,
so
and
good.
and Haas, you said, bro, what you said is I can't even. That's so layered. No, it's so layered, but it's so
It
true
is. It is.
because everybody's on this survival mode situation.
Ooh.
where we wouldn't
Tough
have to
one.
be in survival mode if we stuck together. Because if I had rice and you had string beans and you had chicken, we have a full meal. But so many people are saying, I'm just going to do what I got to do, what I got, and I'm going to make it happen. And that, my friend, is the beginning of the end for most people because you end up dying in that. It becomes a desert.
Yeah.
It becomes a desert. You can't.
Asking for help takes
Yeah,
maturity. This is
it
good.
does take maturity.
This is
It takes
good.
maturity. It does, Stacy. It does. But you can't expect things to happen in this great way if you're not able to dummy down and say, you know what, I need help. Stacy
Mm,
has helped everyone.
everyone. Shout out,
I
Stacy.
mean, seriously, I mean, most of the things that you've seen accomplished wouldn't have been accomplished if Stacy wasn't running around making sure that the behind the scenes things were done. What am I saying? She partnered with people, and it wasn't even about her getting recognition, but she helped someone get the job done.
Yeah.
That is powerful.
Yeah. Man, I saw Stacy singing in the choir last week.
Of course you did.
Last week still, right?
Yeah,
And and,
she's
and some of the stuff you was referencing was, when we were doing a lot more in different spaces, right?
conferences, recordings,
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Because she understood you may not need me on the main stage, but I'll help you for the stages to get you to the main stage. And she made
Yeah.
sure that things were hand in hand, were connected. It's
Yeah.
just you need people like that, but also people need to understand that what you sow in one season, God will allow you to reap in another. So
Yeah.
What Stacey has sown, she's gonna reap. She's gonna reap.
Stacy,
She's gonna reap.
I think there's a praise right there for you, sis.
Listen,
There's a praise. Be not
listen.
weary. Be not weary. It's the principle. You shall
It's the
reap if
principle.
you faint not. Keep
I can't even
going,
play with that.
even in your days of frustration. Keep going in your days of the feeling of not being appreciated. The feeling of
Mm,
not being appreciated. Just know there's a reaping for the seeds that you've sown to help others. It's the law. It's the law. It's the word. And God
can't
is
play
not
with
a
that.
man that he shall not lie. Neither is he the son of man that he shall repent. If he said it, you
Mm,
can believe it's coming to pass. That's his
yeah,
word.
that's his word.
Yes, man. Somebody said they need a cooking show.
They got to be Rue.
Yeah.
Rue, go away. Me and Rue
Y'all,
talk about
so
cooking all the
Percy
time. Yeah.
also cooks, right? Percy also cooks. He's a man of many, many talents.
I'm a culinary artist. I don't just cook. That was for Rue. I'm a culinary artist by trade. Yeah, I
Oh
went
my
to
gosh,
culinary
a
school.
culinary artist.
Yeah.
So you just also learned that, well, we said we're gonna keep it serious tonight. Um, so he's correcting me
Well,
tonight. A
yeah,
culinary artist.
that's
Get it
culinary artist. Yeah.
get the name right. So if you're
Hmm.
not following Percy, follow Percy for recipes. Follow Percy for Follow
Yeah.
Percy for worship tips. Man,
Yeah.
you know what, Percy? You know what? This is unofficial, bro, but we're talking about collaboration,
Hmm.
and I want to put something out there tonight. I want to put something out there. If you don't know, y'all, Percy is my brother,
Yeah.
and one of the things that Percy works through the challenge is he's not a perfectionist, but he likes perfection and he likes
Hmm.
things done a certain way, and he will not do it. Like he will literally go, no, we're not doing it. And we're like, bro, we're right. No, we're not
Yeah.
doing it. I don't
Yeah.
like the way, I don't feel it. I don't see it.
Nope.
No, it's, it's not looking the way I see it. And it's like, bro,
Ooh,
it develops
Jesus.
into that. He's like, no, right,
No.
bro. We gotta sow the seed tonight into the people, man. We gotta talk about the poor. We
Okay.
got to. We got.
Okay.
I just want to just bring it up because
Yeah.
so with infusion, we've been so again, I said this is a partnership. It's not so
Hmm.
infusion by definition is the receiving of something that's needed for healing or
Yeah.
to make better.
To make better, right?
That's what infusion is. When you go to the hospitals, you receive
Hmm.
different types of infusions based on the symptoms or based on the sickness, right? So If you need blood, you get a blood infusion. You get an IV infusion, right? You got different types of infusions that you get. And so um, that the opening segment of infusion, we've partnered with Purcy. Purcy has something that's being developed called the pour.
Yeah.
So the opening of infusion is the pour,
Mm.
but it's bigger than infusion. We just get um, a appetizer, or we get a small piece of what it is, because it's something that's being crafted and developed, man. And I want to talk to the people tonight about what you're developing with the pour, because this year, y'all, I need y'all to hear
Mhm.
me. This year in 2025,
Speak it, sir.
this year,
Yeah.
Haas, he's a culinary artist. Haas is too, right? Haas, you a culinary artist too, or he likes to cook? However
He's
you
a
want to put
cook.
it.
Haas is a cook.
Haas is a but the pour,
Yeah.
y'all, the pour is something that's being developed. It's for the body.
Yeah.
It's not just for worship leaders because he leads
Right.
worship,
Right.
but it's for those who are in positions where they are giving out.
Yeah.
Purse, let's talk. Let's just take a few minutes, man, to talk about that. We got a
Sure.
couple more
Sure.
minutes, man. Let's talk
Sure.
about the pour.
This has
What
been on
is
my
it?
heart for a while now, and the purpose of the pour is to encourage, to equip, to empower, and to impart. For many years, so many people were doing things and didn't have the encouragement or even the um, proper backing or support to do what they do. And I felt compelled by the Holy Spirit to
Yeah,
do something where I can sit with people for a day. Um, I'm not calling no master class because I'm not a master at anything. I tell people the only thing I'm mastering is mastering the need of Him. I
thank you,
need
Jesus.
Him. And, but I feel the need to sit with people to pour into them so that they understand why they worship, who they worship, and continue to give them strength to worship.
Yeah,
And it's for worship leaders, artists, musicians, ministers of music, music directors. That's what I feel really empowered to do. I love to lead worship, but I really love to encourage and educate
yeah,
and to really pour into people. So that's why it's called the pour.
yeah,
And I believe that this is something that's a kingdom mandate for my life. I I'm not going to say I am very confident about what I do,
yeah,
and I believe that this is going to be something that's really going to impact lives, and not only for that day, but I believe that as I pour into people, they're going to be able to pour into people, and
yeah.
that is
That's
what it's about: making and really creating disciples, not of Percy, but the disciples of Jesus, so that they understand that He is the one I worship. It is in Him that I live, move, and have my being. So that is what the poor, that's the basis of the poor. I'm not really sure I'm not looking for a big crowd. I'm looking for the right crowd, for those that want to be poured into. It's not about a number. Um, but that's where my heart is to
yeah,
pour, and, I just see so many people doing things because they've been asked to do it.
yeah,
And they've been, you know, yeah, they've been asked to do it, but it has to go past that. You have to
yeah.
understand why you're doing it so that you can be effective. Your why is your win. If you don't have a why, you won't win. So I
Thank you,
want to
man.
help you get your why. Why am I doing this?
Yeah,
And that's just, I don't know. It's something that I feel empowered with. I never was into rap. I was never into hip hop. And when I saw Haas for the first time, I said, he's he's called to do that.
yeah,
He understands his why. And
yeah,
and I don't never have to say any fluff to Haas. We're friends in real life, but the point of the matter is that he understands his why. And even him being a part of my release concert in August, I felt like that was needed. I felt
yeah,
like I felt like what he brings to the table was needed to bring diversity. But then I had people that were in the audience that said, I've never heard rap like that. I've never heard, and I just want people to understand that when God calls you to a thing, it doesn't matter how many people are doing it. when you are graced and when you are called to do a thing, God gives you exactly what you need to get the job done.
Yeah,
For real.
that's
Yeah.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. Bro, thank you for sharing that, man. Y'all,
Absolutely.
some people, um, when something is still being developed, they don't share.
Yeah.
And I intentionally did that so that we put it out
Yeah.
there. Now we gotta deliver. And
Yeah.
so as things have been happening, and I'm gonna tell y'all something, the thing, this year, again, as we closed out 2024, we was like, this is the year
Hmm.
of activation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Sure.
sometimes I know we have this thing of um, looking for waiting for the perfect opportunities, waiting for the perfect environment.
Hmm.
And sometimes those opportunities and those environments do not look like how you envisioned it.
Yeah.
But what God has given you to do is actually what helps bring the order, is what helps to bring those things together when
Yeah.
you're in that environment, right? And it's
Yeah.
chaotic and like you're like, oh, this is a mess. This is all over the place. And it's poking you. It's annoying you, and you're not realizing like, hey, you actually have the solution for this.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when we as he was talking about the poor, if you notice, it was the same conversation we were having earlier
Hmm.
about innovation and creating and making time to create,
Yeah.
getting the um rest or saying no, right? So
Yeah.
that you can do, your job in a more excellent way, or your
Hmm.
assignment, performing your assignment at that next level. The poor helps you to do your assignment in a more excellent way.
100%.
You you don't you don't have to stumble your way through it when someone has lived and now comes back to pour into you to help you stumble less.
Hmm.
He stumbled so you can stumble
So
less,
you
right?
can
Because
stumble
we
less.
all have a stumble, right? We will
Yeah.
all stumble, right?
At one point.
But you will stumble less when you receive from one who's lived.
Sure.
And I think, this is why, God has allowed us to partner, because we're about to share this pour everywhere we go. If you missed the last infusion, you can go back to YouTube, CCC of NJ, and you can watch the moment of the pour. It was an amazing segment, contribution, and infusion. It allowed the preacher to minister,
Yeah.
and the hearts were ready to receive what God had laid on the preacher's heart to share. Man, and these moments become so important to our gatherings, to our corporate gatherings, that it's not just singing. We can't relegate these moments to just
Mhm.
singing, right? This is not a time filler.
No. No.
You want to get to infusion early to experience the pour. God has something for you from the start to finish.
So,
June 6th and 7th, we are going to be live at Whole Life Community Church.
yes, sir.
We want you to be a part of this. June 6th is open to the public. June 7th, there will be a registration required with a $50 registration fee. This will be an investment into your future. Everything that weekend is about innovation. It's about creating. When you consider the transitions and changes that are happening in our society today, this weekend is critical to help shape the mindset, the heart, the spirit, the perception that's needed to thrive in these
So,
stages.
so,
Because what's coming down the pike, you're gonna need more than now I lay me down to sleep.
Sure. Yes, sir.
You're gonna need to know how to weather this storm. You're gonna
Yeah.
need to know how to navigate through the changes and transitions that are happening. You know, some good, some not so good, right? And that is June 6th and 7th. In just a month from now, June 6th and June 7th. We begin on a Friday night at 7:30. Whole Life Community Church, 125 Church Street in Totowa, New Jersey. Uh, my brother Percy is going to be there. Stace, I got you. My brother Percy is going to be there. My good brother Dr. Jermone Glenn
Yes, sir.
from Chicago is going to be there. If you have
Incredible.
not heard of Dr. Jermone Glenn,
Incredible.
as they say in the culture, Google him. But man, just an amazing brother that really pushes, challenges, irritates. He irritates comfortability. If you're comfortable, get ready to be irritated. But it's a good irritation. And so we're excited. We're excited by the collaborations and partnerships for that weekend, bro. Last few words.
Oh man, excited about it. It's a month. It's actually a month from today, right? Is that true?
Yeah, month from
Yes, a
today.
month from today. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
I pray that, anyone that can get out there and just come expecting, because I'm telling you, our level of expectation is through the roof because of what we've seen God do before. So we're excited about it, and I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm excited to partner with you, and I'm just encourage everyone to come on out and let's have a great time. It's not a long time, but it's a strong time. I promise you.
absolutely, bro. I want to say thank you so much for
Absolutely.
your continued push,
Mhm.
conversations, the challenge. You want people in your life that challenge you. You don't want
Yeah.
people in your life that will help you to remain stagnant. You
Right.
want people that's not intimidated by your future, that's not
Hmm.
intimidated by your growth. And so, bro, I thank you for the relationship that we have. Ladies and gentlemen, he said it. Meet us June 6th and 7th.
Yes, sir.
We thank you all for your presence tonight. Thanks for logging in. And we're great to be out.
Yes, sir.
Peace,
Yeah.
family.
Family, what up? I have a question for you today. It's with a little sense of urgency. Here's the word. Here's the question. It is, what are you doing? Serious question that I'm asking right now. What are you doing? What are you doing with your gifts? What are you doing with your talents? What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your resources? With all of the challenges that are happening in us and around us, this is the perfect opportunity for us to create. This is the perfect opportunity for us to partner, collaborate, be in the right environments where solutions are being discussed. There's something that's happening June 6th and 7th that I think will be a perfect opportunity for all of us to come together. And it's our second installment of Infusion. And the focus and the theme is the word innovate. Oh yeah, we're going to be talking solutions. We're going to be talking creating. We're going to be talking renovating. We're going to be talking modernizing. We're going to be talking about progress and moving forward because the solution is within us. So if you feel stuck, you want to be there June 6th and 7th. You feel frustrated, you want to be there June 6th and 7th because there is something you can do about it. I've invited my good brother, Dr. Jermone Glenn, to join us as we curate this education to give us the tools that we need to be innovative. Sometimes necessity is the fuel for innovation. And I believe now is the time for us to create. See you June 6th and 7th.